You guys know that there's other Danzig albums besides the first four, right?
Sitting around with time to kill.
You are now watching Music the Lifebloods Vinyl Thursday.
Minutes till we lose control. So we go out.
Hey guys, this is Dustin from Music the Lifeblood. Welcome to Vinyl Thursday. So let's get this sumbitch on the road and moving. We're talking about my favorite Danzig album, Danzig 777 E Luciferi. In the grand scheme of Glenn Danzig's creative arc, is a period of time that I'm uber fascinated with. This is my entry point, so to speak. That's what you want to call it. The band had shed the last vestiges musically of the classic lineup of Danzig 1 through 4 and swapped that out for the more industrial twinge 1996's Black Acid Evil and 1999's Satan's Child. And if anybody wants to talk to me about how Danzig 5 Black Acid Evil is the lost Sam Hain album, I'm more than happy to do so. But we'll save that for another episode. But yeah, that's a Sam Hain album to me, but whatever. Anyway, during the touring cycle for E Luciferi, Glenn made an appearance on Rob's Metalworks. This is what he had to say about the suffocating nu metal trend that was happening at the time. Suffocating is a good way to put it. It was too much. It's just fucking, it's too much. And it was bad.
This is more, even further I don't see it as sounding like Danzig 1 because it doesn't, because Danzig 1 is very stripped down and this is very produced. This is just very heavy, a lot of tuned down guitars, really just kind of like my answer to all the rap metal crap that's out there, like frat metal guys stealing heavy music and trying to make it into like some kind of frat rock, and that ain't gonna happen. Not while I'm around. Ain't gonna happen.
When bands are around for long periods of time, we're talking years, and they deviate from their established norm. They do something else for a little while. And then at some point, they go back and they do something just even remotely resembling what they had initially did and what you were exposed to. You always hear that music critic trope of it's a return to form. And to me, it gets tossed around too much as far as critics or people like me that do what we do talk about music. I don't consider myself a critic. I consider myself a music enthusiast, but what the fuck ever. But anyway, I think the term is overused. Way too much, because a lot of the time it just seems lazy, in my opinion. It's a easy way for you to just brush whatever aside because you probably weren't paying a whole hell of a lot of attention in the first place. And I think that's what sucks about Danzig 5 and 6 as far as their place in the grand history of the Danzig catalog, is that they don't get looked at enough, in my opinion, because it doesn't sound like Danzig 2. There's no guitar solos. There's blah, 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 all that other crap. Well, to me, the thing you got to look at is yeah, musically, yes, it did deviate from what was going on Danzig 1 through 4, but there's still a thread to be ran through the entire Danzig catalog that has similar elements that pop up every single album. It's that sort of dark, brooding, misanthropic thing that Glenn Danzig writes about as far as lyrics go. And it's the atmosphere. A lot like black metal, in my opinion. The atmosphere of black metal is extremely important to just how you suss out the sound of it. And I'd say the same thing about the Danzig catalog. Darkness, that sort of brooding darkness, needs to be there. It's an absolute must. But is Luciferi a return to form compared to Danzig 5 and 6? No, I think it's a continuation. It's a natural continuation of those two albums. And the reason I think it's a return to form gets haphazardly thrown around is because, well, it sort of reminds me of the first 4 Danzig albums. It doesn't me. Not at all. I think it's better than the first 4 Danzig albums. That's where I'm at with it. Like I said, this is my entry point into Danzig, and this is the album that caused me to fall in love with the band. And the unfortunate thing about that, it's a return to form sort of critic trope, is that it causes a lot of really good albums to get overlooked. And that's how you wind up with the heaven and hells of rock music. Heaven and Hell could possibly be, in my opinion, Black Sabbath's greatest album. And yes, I'm saying that with Master of Reality and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath in mind. Heaven and Hell stomps a mud hole in both of those albums. I'd say the same thing about Mondo Bizarro by the Ramones. Everybody gets so fixated on Rocket to Russia and Leave Home and the first album that you stop paying attention to whatever it is that came after, because it doesn't sound like what D.D. Ramone would write. But fact of the matter is, D.D. Ramone wrote a bunch of songs towards the end of the Ramones' career. It's just, it's frustrating that we have the Heaven and Hells and the Mondo Bizarros and the Luciferis of the music world. We're ignoring really, really great albums. And it's just unfortunate, in my opinion, because Luciferi is the top of the heap for me. It's just, I can't think of anything bad about this album. Plus, the lineup on this album is a beast, live and in studio. I got to see them on this tour, and to say that they were crushing was an understatement. Just, good Lord, it was a fucking behemoth of a live band. followed by Joey Castillo's drumming as an 8-year fixture within the band. Joey comes from hardcore and punk rock, and the great thing about playing hardcore and punk rock is that you can also do other stuff really well if you're good at it, which that's important. But if you look at how Joey handled the Biscuits era songs, you can see he's capable. He's extremely capable. He's more than capable as far as drummers go. He handled them amazingly, in my opinion. And if you look at Joey's resume after he left Danzig, what he went on to do, Queens of the Stone Age, Zach Sabbath, Blood Clot, played with the Hives as a fill-in for a little while. You can tell why Glenn hung on to him for so long. Dude is just a badass. I've talked at length about my fondness for Todd Youth as a guitar player, his playing and all that stuff. Just go check out the Son of Sam episodes I did. I talk about Todd quite a bit on those. But much like Joey, Todd came from a varied background, punk rock and hardcore and stuff like that. And in my opinion, Todd was the perfect guitarist for that period of Danzig. His chops are so varied that he fit right in, being able to handle the bluesy oriented stuff from the early albums and then just full on metal that we got for albums like Luciferi. Todd was extremely capable, and it's just sad that he's gone. It always just makes me sad, just, it's a bummer because Todd was so fucking great. We're talking about a guy that filled in for Motorhead. Fucking Motorhead. Do you know how good you have to be at whatever it is you're doing for Lemmy to say, yeah, that guy works. Perfect. Man, Todd was great.
God of light.
lineup was tight live, and it definitely came through in the finished product of the album. And at the helm of it all was Glenn Danzig. Lyrically, he's sticking to his staple topics, the occult, blasphemy, pushing back on the Christian orthodoxy. But in my opinion, one of the best songs on the album, and lyrically an absolute standout, it should have been a single, is the title track, E Luciferi. And speaking of standout tracks, next up is Naked Witch. Weird staccato opening to this song, and then just Glenn's vocals killing it over the top of Todd's buzzsawing guitar. Yeah, check that one out. Coldest Sun is easily my favorite song on the album and within the entirety of the Danzig catalog. I've been listening to this song for it's going on 20 years, and it still gives me goosebumps every time I listen to it. Just, God, this song is good. Lyrically, I think it's Glenn's high watermark for sure. He's able to communicate vividly, but without it being verbose and overkill. This sort of looming, bleak sense of distance and cold. It's just bleakness. Yeah, that's the best word I can think to describe it. Just bleak and a sort of looming dread. Just, you can really see that Baudelaire sort of influence coming through on this song, but man, oh man, is it good.
Blessed morning rises, blessed eyes, kiss the hand that offers this, kiss the hand that offers life. There's no one
Let's check out some of the merch and pressing info and miscellaneous stuff. Okay, guys, first thing up, I hopped on Discogs just to kind of check it out, see if the information was accurate, or at least I was feeling like the information was accurate. And there's some good stuff on Discogs. This one saw a lot of CDs get pressed. This was Spitfire Records, and I think Glenn got to press his own CDs as well. It's under the Evil Live imprint. So, but don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But anyway, if you want to hop on Discogs, you can see there's just a ton of different CD pressings of it. Don't know as far as the numbers pressed, but I do know as far as CDs go, this one's a little more expensive than some of the other stuff that pops up in the catalog. So not sure about actual pressing numbers. I have no freaking clue, and I'm not going to go digging into that for CDs. But you know, if you guys are all about it, go hunting. That'll be fun. But anyway, first up, let's talk about the initial run of vinyl. So there's that. Recorded at Grandmaster Hollywood, Rumbo Recorders, Glenwood Place, The Hook, Hollywood Sound, mastered at Precision Mastering. Limited to 500 hand-numbered copies. We're going to check this little hand numbering deal out here in a minute. There were some good pictures of the back cover. So yeah, 500. Issued with a lyric inner sleeve, a 12-page booklet, and a signed and numbered screen print. So there you go. And then there it is. There's Matrix, the runouts, the whatever. The etchings. A lot of people call them etchings too, but there's that. And then the catalog number right there, Night 068. And it's very clear on the back of that sleeve, by the way. Okay, so first thing up, there's a good look at the cover. You guys know that already. It's a cool looking cover. Glenn being super creepy, and Howie and Todd and Joey back there, hanging out. Brr. I like those gloves that Glenn has. He was wearing those when I saw him on this tour. They were neat looking. And there's the back cover. And then there you go. There's the catalog number, top right, Night 068. And then along the bottom down there, you can see the limited edition, the little white block. So these would have been hand numbered. So the first number is what's handwritten in, and then the slash and the 500 are, as far as I know, printed on there. You can see the Spitfire imprint there. But anyway, that's what you're looking for. And I would suspect that counterfeit versions of this are not going to have that hand numbering on it, because it's just too much effort to put into. And there are a lot of counterfeit versions of this album, tons. And as far as I know, as far as official release of this album, it only came in black. No other colors. So chances are, if you come across a color one, might be a counterfeit. Might, probably, you guys know the drill. And then there's a good look at the side A label. Again, Night 068, the catalog number on there. Bam, cool looking label. Wish I had one. Super jelly. There's the side B. Again, this is on Discogs, by the way, if you want to go kind of look at them close up on your own. And then there's sleeve, inner, insert, whatever you want to call it. They worship neither a god nor even a demon, but a dead man, ! Celsius. Good quote. And then there's your lyrics. Cool. And then there's the insert. Again, hand numbered here. But a super cool insert. That's really fucking badass, actually. God, I wish I had one. I'll find one eventually, but. All right. And then next up, some of the marketing material that went along with this. So there's a handful of different things, like print ads. I can't remember ever seeing like a 24x36 poster for this album. Not saying it couldn't be out there, but just off the top of my head, I don't remember seeing anything. But first up is this cool 11x17 version of it. The big red block down there at the bottom. That's so if it was for a show, you could write, the street team or whoever's putting it up could write the date of the show and at what venue it's at. Or if it was in a record store, they could write releasing whatever day, that sort of thing. Or if they're doing like some special event for it, that sort of thing. So, I mean, we've talked about posters before on Vinyl Thursday. So if you guys are looking to get in, to collecting marketing material like this, this was from eBay, by the way. I'm not going to put up the details of the auction because if somebody's bidding on it, I don't want to ruin the auction for them. But anyway, if you're wanting to get in on stuff like this, it takes a little bit of work. It was a lot easier when there were record stores around. I'm not going to lie to you. You could go in and be friendly with the record store folks and, kind of bug them. What are you guys going to do with that Danzig poster once you're done with it? Oh, do you want it? Yeah, sure. $5. Cool. Just simple stuff like that. You'd be surprised at what you can get your hands on when it comes to marketing material. And a lot of it's really, really cool looking too. So, and then there's another one, alternate version. Sorry, it's a bad picture. Pulled it off of eBay. So yeah, I mean, you get the general idea. That's a picture of Glenn and the girl that's on the inside of the booklet and all that stuff. CD print ad. So there you go. Cool looking. And then these float around too. These are 8x10 glossies of the band that, if I had to guess, they might have got stuffed into kind of promo packaging. Like if the record label had sent copies of the CD to a radio station to play, they might tuck a glossy in there, that sort of thing. These come up. I see these on a pretty regular basis. Now, granted, I think probably a lot of them are counterfeits, but there's still some legitimate ones out there floating around. So I thought it was cool, and these aren't too much. It's kind of a cheap way to get something cool if you're on a budget and you're needing to sort of scratch the collector's itch. Look at Howie over there. It's putting out the vibe. But anyway, I hopped on T-Shirt Slayer and just grabbed a couple pics of, some cool looking merch. There's a long sleeve shirt. That's cool looking. It's neat. And then this was the Kiss the Skull T-shirt, which there was a video for Kiss the Skull, by the way. It's sort of this computer animated thing with the band, just skulls everywhere, that sort of thing. Cool shirt, though. Really, really cool shirt. And I just thought this was funny. It's the cassette. Cassettes are making a comeback, and I think they're making a comeback because of the shutdown we had. Collectors want to continue to collect, but they're on an extremely limited budget right now. Like Carter, our Music Lifeblood's own third man in the field, he co-hosts Conversations from the Pit with me. Carter loves cassettes. Like, he'll snatch them up, straight up snatch them up. This one's a BMG one, which I think this is probably more than likely like a record club, if I had to guess. But yeah, I just thought it made me laugh because cassettes are fun. And then there's the inside of the booklet. Cool picture of Glenn and the girl. And then there you go. Check that out. Bam. Actual cassette. Totally awesome. Yeah, I remember cassettes. You just can't skip anything. you got to be real good at, hitting it right on the mark. So you don't, miss the beginning of the next song if you want to speed past the song. So, but yeah, it's still cool. Nostalgia. I thought some of you guys might be interested in seeing it. So there you go, guys. Yeah, lots and lots of stuff out there to be had. And there's more than even what I showed you guys on here. Just tons and tons of really, really cool stuff. Kind of a rich vein as far as the band goes. Lots of content and lots of goodies to be had if you go digging for them. So, all right, moving on. All right, time to check out my copy of it. I don't have it on vinyl. I'm going to tell you that right now. Don't have it because, good Lord, is it commanding a high price these days. So I'll get it at some point, but still thought it would be fun. We can check out my OG CD copy of it and a few other things. Hey guys, before we start this segment, just heads up, just like in times past, I have loud neighbors and my house is very active today. There's lots of stuff going on. I can hear Haggis out in the living room walking around and her nails, clicking on the floor. And my wife is out there running around doing something, that sort of thing. So as always, sorry about the noise, but it's the wonderful world of podcasting and YouTubing from your home. So anyway, bear with me on this one. All right, first thing up is this. It's a sticker. I have two of these, but one of them got bent really bad and it looks like crap. These were giveaways at the show that I went to. There was somebody working the door, just passed them out. They're handing out these little singles I'm going to show you in a second too. But really cool looking sticker. I remember I had a handful of them and I stuck one on my bass. I was playing in a band at the time and I put one of them on my bass. I think it's still on there. I think I'd have to get it out, but I just thought it was cool. I always hang on to stuff like this whenever I go to shows and somebody's, giving, little giveaways away, that sort of thing. So, but it was really cool. At the time, this was pretty common too, to where you would get info about whatever it was, whoever was promoting on the back of it too. It's just smart marketing. New album, summer 2002, featuring Wicked Pussycat, Black Mass, Dead Inside, catch Danzig on tour this summer. And then there's the Danzig Verotic website, which if you guys don't know what Verotic is, that's Glenn's comic book line. He publishes comic books. He writes a lot of them. He works a lot with a really, really great artist named Simon Bisley. He goes by Biz. Biz has done a ton of artwork for Glenn over the years. He did the cover to Satan's Child. He's just like, he's in the same vein as like Boris Vallejo, Bernie Wrightson, Frank Frazetta, guys like that. Biz is just, he's great. He's the one that did the lyrics of the Left Hand books for Glenn, the illustrated versions of Glenn's lyrics, which I've done an episode on that. So you can flip back in the queue and go find that episode, which really, really cool. I think it's Hidden Lyrics of the Left Hand. So you guys can go watch it, but it was fun. And then there's the Evil Live imprint. That's Glenn's. And then Spitfire. There you go. The Spitfire Records website. I didn't think to look up the website to see if it was still active. I should do that, but there you go. Cool little piece of marketing material. These, oh, by the way, too, guys, these pop up on eBay with a fair amount of regularity still. And I don't think these have ever been counterfeited. I just don't see that happening with them. They seem to be genuine. And I ordered one a while back just to see if it felt different than the one that I have, and it didn't. It seemed to be legit. So these are cheap too. So look for them. And then CD singles. These were giveaways. These are promotional items. Again, I got this at the show that I went to. They were just passing them out at the door, and I grabbed a couple. I grabbed one for my brother and one for me. And Derek, I think he left it in the car on our way home, so I just took it. And I would say 6-7 years ago, I gave that copy away to a buddy. because he was a huge Danzig fan, and I had 2 of them. But yeah, these pop up with the same amount of regularity as what these stickers do, and these are not expensive at all. I think I've seen them for under $20, but it's just a couple songs, Black Mass and Wicked Pussycat, promoting the new album, all that stuff. You know, they had the little plastic tabs to keep the CD from falling out. And neat thing too, so you guys can see the actual CD itself. I haven't played this in a long time. So I think what I'm leaning towards is when I get a couple more pieces of marketing material, I'm probably going to do a shadow box and put some of it in a frame so I can hang it here in the MTLB bunker. But I also have a Sam Hain project that's similar to that on the horizon, where I got a really cool idea for a picture frame. So yeah, sorry about the noise in the background, guys. My house is active today. Lots of stuff going on. Okay, and then here's the big one. It's the CD itself. So I've played this a lot over the years. You can see, you know, stuff takes damage, that sort of thing. Just, I played this thing to death. Love this album. Absolutely love it. And I wanted to show you guys the original case too, because mine came with this red, like the base that the CD sits on. It's red. I thought it was neat. Remember when I bought it, I was like, that's a cool little touch. But I wanted to leave it in the actual case that I had got it in, just so you guys could see it. Because I'm big on, you know, I like to play with my toys. for lack of a better term. So I put a lot of mileage on this album, and it's because I love it. But you can see just how much it's been loved. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys the booklet first, because the booklet's really cool. Sorry about that glare, guys. You know the drill with the glare. So, okay, there's the cover. Cool looking. I love this sort of I guess a logo symbol, whatever you want to call it. There's some awesome pictures of Glenn, a couple demon girls back there. It's the guys in the band. Glenn in his creepy gloves. There's the gatefold, if you want to call it that, for a CD book. But they worship neither a god nor even a demon, but a dead man, the Celsus quote. Which, this is a cool picture. It's neat. Don't know if this is going to get censored on YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that, so I guess we'll find out. There's a couple more good pictures of Howie, Todd, Joey, and Glenn over there on the right. Lyrics. God, my house is busy this morning. And then there's the credits for the album. Super cool. So Glenn Danzig, Todd Youth, Howie Pyro, Joey C, engineered by Nick Raskulinix, I think that Linegs, and Sean Berman, mixed by Glenn Danzig and Nick, recorded at Grandmaster Hollywood, Rumbo Recorders, Glenwood Place, The Hook, Hollywood Sound, mastered by Tom Baker, Precision Mastering. Things to Bobby Brunner, Mates, Karen, Crazy Craig, Mike Session, Christian Flywheeler, maybe, Nick Infield, and Adam. Photos, Carlos Batts. So pay attention to the credits on the inside of your albums, guys, because right there, photos by Carlos Batts, 2002 Evil Live. Who is that? Is that someone you could get a hold of that might have some prints of some of the other shots that would have been taken during this photo session for the album? It's something to think about, because you could reach out to a photographer and say, hey, I'm a big Danzig fan. Do you got anything sitting around that you're not doing anything with? You'd be willing to give up or sell or whatever the case is, as far as, any kind of projecty stuff that you did with the band, that sort of thing. So pay attention to stuff like that, guys. Because, I was talking we were looking at all the online stuff. I was talking about kind of going into record stores and being friendly with the staff, and you might get a piece of marketing material that they would otherwise thrown out or something like that. Same sort of thing with the other industry people that have worked on projects with artists, photographers especially, because some photographers, they may not do it full time and it may not be astronomically priced. I remember I reached out to Glennie Friedman's website to inquire about a print of a photo of the Misfits that he had took, and it was not cheap, to put it lightly. But at the same time, you get what you pay for. If I'm buying something directly from Glennie Friedman, it's going to be great quality and it's going to be a badass shot. But like I said, some people do it as a hobby and they get to work with bands and they may not have, super crazy, insane prices on their stuff. So just food for thought, guys. If you want the art of collecting, if you will, being able to get a hold of people, that sort of thing. Yeah, good stuff. All right. So let's check out the back cover first before we pull that CD out. There you go. Here's the back cover, track list. So we're going to talk about these songs and track listing here in a minute. I got a fun little, a project for you guys. But anyway, track listing, awesome picture with Glenn and the girl. If I'm not mistaken, that's an adult film star. God, what was her name? I can't remember her name, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that's who it is. But anyway, Glenn likes his demon girls for sure. And then CD. Again, same girl. See Glenn and his gloves there. I've always paid attention to how the printing on this CD. It's actually, I don't know. I don't think it's a sticker. Like I don't know. It doesn't feel the way that like a vinyl sticker would, but the printing on this has held up really, really well over the years. That's something to think about. If you guys do hunt down a copy of this, it's going to be a little more than what you would normally because there's not a ton of copies out there of it. It's not as prevalent as some of the other albums in the catalog, but this has held up over the years really, really well. It's sturdy. It's got some thickness. It's got some weight to it. Even with as many miles as I've put on it, in my CD player, it's just the thing has held up, and you can see that by this. The print job on it is still in really, really great shape. So food for thought if you guys are going to go hunt one down. And then there's, here, let me get rid of this dust so you guys can, there we go. It's hard when even if you don't live in a dusty house, you'd be amazed at how much just, if you have pets, that sort of thing. But anyway, it's that awesome logo. This thing was cool because, so the tray is red, but the back of this, I pulled it off before just to look at it to see what the printing was, but it's black and white on here, but I don't want to pull this out again because the case is, I'm always worried about it. When they get, so old, sometimes the acrylic can get brittle. So I don't want to pull it out, but it was neat. It was a cool little juxtaposition to the color scheme here and here. So it's all black, reds, and whites. And you guys know, I've talked about it a ton of times on Vinyl Thursday. I really like that sort of metal, punk rock, high contrast, black, white, red combination of stuff. It always looks really cool. But what a neat package as far as this one goes. Yeah. Do one more look at the cover so you guys can see it. And there's, flip through the book one more time. Awesome picture of Joey and Todd. I missed that one the first time around. I think I skipped this one the first time around, so give you a little bit of a longer look. God, Joey's such a good drummer. Jesus criminy. Todd was a badass too. Here's the centerfold quote. There we go. I think I missed this one too. Yeah. There's Howie and Glenn. It's a cool picture. Glenn's had that leather jacket forever. There's that. There's the credits. Then we'll do one last look at the CD. Super cool. Awesome album. God, I love this album. But yeah, go out and get you guys a copy of it, man. It's worth it. It's worth what you're going to pay. Maybe this will get re-released. Who knows? It's always possible. Hoping so. You know, there's a lot of people that within like the collector groups that I'm in on, you know, social media and stuff like that. A lot of people talk about this album being like, it's always hard to find this, and Sam Hain stuff is always hard to track down sometimes, but this one's worth it. This one is really, really, really worth it. It's good. Okay, so something kind of fun for you guys to do. So, couple things. I built my own playlist, so you're going to need some stuff. You're going to need a copy of Luciferi, and you're also going to need your copy of the Lost Tracks of Danzig. So what I did was there were more songs recorded for the sessions for Luciferi than what came on the actual album itself. And those songs, as far as I know, all of them, all the other songs that were recorded during those sessions appear on the Lost Tracks of Danzig. And on the back, we're talking about Cat People, Bound by Blood, Who Claims the Souless, Maleficial, Soul Eater, and Dying Seraph, I believe. Those are the ones that were left off of Luciferi, but were recorded around that time. So I created my own sort of cut of the album. And I thought it would be fun. I got a picture of Skeletor as my screensaver, so that's exciting. Anyway, let me pull it up real quick. So I made a kind of a generic cover for it. So I took the singles that they were handing out at the show, and I just did a stupid ultra mega mix. So you can laugh at me about, but whatever. Anyway, shows how enthusiastic I am. It was goofy and funny. But anyway, I did my own mix of Luciferi, and I'm calling it the Ultra Mega Mix. And right there it is. So I've been listening to this the last couple days, and like I said, I've said it a ton of times before, you know, on older episodes of Vinyl Thursday, and it's come up on the podcast that I don't know that there's a way that Luciferi could be any better, but I found a way to make it better. I just put more songs from those sessions on it. And these songs are absolutely killer. And then I did my own track order, which I thought flowed really, really well. So, you know, I'll put some notes down in the note section of the video so you guys can see what I did, but I don't use Spotify. I don't know what, as far as like Glenn Danzig's output is or isn't on Spotify. I don't like Spotify. I think it's a bad business model for bands. So if this stuff isn't on Spotify, you're going to have to get your own copy of it. But if you do have a copy of it, you can play along, that sort of thing. But I opened it with Unendlich. That's the opening on the actual Luciferi, by the way, and it goes directly into Black Mass, same as the album. And then Kiss the Skull, Liberskull, Soul Eater. That's one of the songs from Lost Tracks of Danzig. Oh, look, one of the Music the Lifeblood guys is messaging me. Soul Eater, and then Dead Inside from the album Who Claims the Souless. That's from Lost Tracks, Wicked Pussycat, and The Coldest Sun. So that would be kind of like the midpoint of the album. So I guess if there was a side, with this many songs, it would probably be 4 sides. So that's the end of that's the end of the second. We'll just say it's the end of side 1. How about that? It's a great song to end it on. And then the second side opens with Luciferi, title track. And then Halo Goddess Bone. Cat People, that's the Bowie cover from the Lost Tracks of Danzig. Then there's Angel Blake, awesome song. Dying Seraph, that's from Lost Tracks again. Naked Witch, it's a badass song. God of Light, and then Maleficial, that's from Lost Tracks. Without Light I Am, that's what the actual Luciferi ends on, but I decided to end it on Bound by Blood because I felt like if this was an album, Bound by Blood would be the ultimate closer for that album. So, give you guys, there you go. Unendlich, Black Mass, Kiss the Skull, Liberskull, Soul Eater, Dead Inside, Who Claims the Souless, Wicked Pussycat, The Coldest Sun, Luciferi, Halo Goddess Bone, Cat People, Angel Blake, Dying Seraph, Naked Witch, God of Light, Maleficial, Without Light I Am, and Bound by Blood. Which, Bound by Blood, Danzig, Glenn says it in the Lost Tracks of Danzig, the notes for each of the songs. He feels like that was probably the best guitar solo that Todd had ever recorded. And it's so good. But anyway, might be fun for you guys. Like I said, I'll put the track listing in the notes if you guys want to do it too, because I don't know if this is on Spotify, but like I said, I stay away from Spotify. I don't like it. I like Bandcamp a lot. Bandcamp is great. It would be amazing if Glenn put the whole catalog up on Bandcamp. That would be absolutely badass. But anyway, there you go. Good times though. Okay, guys, that is it. Danzig 777 Luciferi. All right, guys, that's it for this week's edition of Vinyl Thursday. Are you going to make your own ultra mega mix of Danzig 777 Luciferi like I did? Try it out. It's fun. I had thought to myself for years and years and years, there's no way this album could get any better. And turns out there is a way it could get better. Just put more songs from the same recording sessions on it. And it's amazing. I love those songs. I just can't get enough of them. Absolutely love this period of the band. All right. Let me know if you did your own mix in the comment sections below. You guys know the drill. Subscribe, social media bullshit. Go look for other Music the Lifeblood content if you're into it. Blah, 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 blah. All right. That's it. Music the Lifeblood, something old. Something new. What are you listening to? The Ultra Mega Mix of Danzig 777 Luciferi. Hey folks, don't forget you can support Music the Lifeblood by buying some of our shit. Go to teechip.com and check out the MTLB-ULTRA-MEGA-STORE. Tons of fun stuff. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, all kinds of shit, so you look cool for once. All right. Fucking merch.